Last night I was reading Rudy the story of Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Pot. You know what happened? He stuck his nose in the pot once too often. He got stuck. Alcohol, right?
Now jumping right into the meat and potatoes. Woo-wee! Thibs finally made the proper fucking adjustments on the defensive end, and this is something that we have not seen in the first 3 games of the regular season going up against the Celtics. It was always a hedge or recover or a drop back and recover over the top, and now we see the Knicks. Check out KP right here. They're forcing the Celtics to actually make plays. Don't necessarily have to double. See, during the regular season, Cat would just double this right away, or someone else would have came off and helped, and then KP would have kicked out to the open shooters. But now everyone might as well stay at bay because KP, he hasn't really proven that he could be that post-up guy. Right here's a prime example. This is a third matchup against the Knicks. KP's posting up on Deuce, and the Knicks instantly double. So this is what the Celtics like. They're going to try to kick out and just trying to exploit a lot of these 2v1 situations. See, now Drew's options are going to open up right here. He could take it himself, or he's going to have options. And as he continues to attack, he has KP. He has options here also, depending on what Cat does. But Cat is stuck in this 2v1 situation. There's 2 shooters out here. White can move over a little bit, or he has to recover back to KP. Same thing for Precious. But they love this situation. This is what they're looking for. They want to have your defense constantly rotating. And in a way, this is how Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum kind of have the pressure taken off their shoulders. But in game 1, we see that without the Knicks doubling, now the pressure is on them in isolation to make a play. But this is good. We're going to get deeper into a lot of the different looks that Thibs was giving the Celtics. And once again, just going back to KP in game 1, force him to make a play out of the post because we haven't really seen him consistently be strong enough as they get this turnover right here. Just finishing on guys and posting up and just being that dominant center down low. That's just not KP's game. And I would even apply that principle to JB. Let's say if KP starts posting up on Brunson out here, depending how far away he is from the cup, I would say let him make a play. Don't double right away because KP has never been proven to be that low post player. JB got a strong base. He could give him a lot of contact, and that tends to throw KP off his game. And I'm not going to lie, game 1, Thibs really threw a lot of different looks at the Celtics. Not only right here, we're going to get a switch. We're also going to get OG on the recovery. Low-key in this game, Mikal, OG, Josh Hart, the way they played this, just help defense right here and then recover to the shooter, just close out, was tremendous, especially in the ending moments of the game. Right here, the Knicks not only switch, OG just, man, he was on his A game. Here's some more of that help defense with Josh Hart this time and Mikal Bridges. They're in position right here to help out with any actions that go on here, any mismatches that happen, any players like Jrue Holiday right here on the roll. They did a tremendous job just helping out. Look at Josh Hart. Him, Mikal, OG, they were A1 in this game when it came down to this. You know, the help defense was definitely part of the Knicks game plan. And I would say Jrue Holiday, it's good to test him out because he is the weak link as far as being the 3-point shooter, just the open guy. Look at Deuce right here. He's going to completely abandon him. And Cat, in a way, this is almost a peel switch because now it's his responsibility to worry about these 2 players. See Deuce on the help. And that's a good gamble on Jrue Holiday. Other teams in the regular season have applied this formula against the Celtics, kind of backing off of Jrue. The higher up you go in these NBA playoffs, man, this shit get technical. And the Knicks going up against the Boston Celtics, it's almost like they jumped up to the Eastern Conference Finals in a way because of the level of just technicality from the offense and defensive side coming from the Boston Celtics. And Thibs, I'm not going to lie, game 1, he was coaching his ass off, just giving them a lot of different looks on the defensive side. Here's some more of that help defense as Jalen Brown. He's going to get the switch on Brunson, one-on-one. And we'll take a look at OG and Bridges right here. They got some good 3-point shooters on the line, but yet they got one eye on the ball and they got one eye on their man. Let's check out their movements. Ooh, almost like an accordion. Look at that. OG. Sheesh. These closeouts have been crazy. And of course, you got Josh Hart helping out. Those three have been on point in game one. That Detroit Pistons series really did wonders for this team. The guys being battle tested together. I don't want to say facing elimination, but just the threat of it. It kind of bonded this team in a different way, and it made them more in unison. This definitely has bled over into the Celtics series. Here's some more of that defense with the Knicks trying to gain a stop. Look at Bridges. Kind of stunting in a little bit, completely off Derek White. Closing the gaps once again with Bridges. You see, this is exactly what happens when the Celtics put you in a position where you're not rotating. They're forced to make a play. For example, right here, this is our second game of the season. Even though we have Jericho Sims, the Knicks play the same kind of defense with Cat. We're sort of drop back coverage right here, or sometimes it'll be a hedge. But they always put the Knicks in a position where they were rotating. And now they're going to have multiple options for open shots. Once again, multiple options for open shots. Here's one, and there's two. They had us in that exact position in the first 3 meetings of the season. Jumping back to game one into the overtime, the same concept applies right here. You see the Knicks are going to start switching. This is the complete opposite from that regular season meeting. And now they're forcing with the mismatch. JB on Tatum, they're going to stick with that and just force Tatum to make a play. JB just gets a little physical with him. And he airballs that. Again, huge difference. Keep in mind that last clip we've seen, this was Jericho Sims in this position. Meanwhile, Bridges would try to recover right here. He'd go over the top and try to recover, and Al Horford would pop out or he'll roll. And now Mikal stays on him. There's no switch. And now JB completely stays on Tatum. So now there's no advantage. The Knicks defense is not rotating right now. And this is where Tatum really gets a lot of flack right here. Could he be consistent enough in isolation like this? That's going to be the $1 million question in this series. And in a way, we have not seen the Celtics really being put in this position. They really haven't had their chin checked in the playoffs, not in a while. Last season, they kind of had an easier route. And this season, the Knicks was waiting for them. Now, also another layer of Thibs defense that we saw quite often, I would say in the last regular season matchup going up against the Celtics. And now we've seen here in game one is a lot of the peel switching from the Knicks. Jrue Holiday right here completely rolls, catches JB off guard. And look at Cat. Cat's going to recover. And JB's going to recover to Al Horford. We haven't seen this from the Knicks like that. The Knicks defense is avoiding being caught doing what the Celtics wants them to do, which is rotating. And keep in mind, in this overtime period, both teams didn't really shoot necessarily great from the field. But what put the Knicks over the top was that team defense. And now going back to that same possession, we're going to see the Knicks institute that same peel switch again. This time, Cat helps out. And look at Mikal. He recovers to Jrue Holiday. Great stop. Let's look at it one more time. Al Horford with the post up. Check out Cat. He doubles. Mikal now is going to switch to Jrue. The Celtics get a shot clock violation. The defense is definitely more in sync. We're definitely seeing a defensive calluses built up from that Pistons series. Once again, this is how the Knicks were getting cooked before. The Celtics constantly had him rotating. Look at Mikal trying to recover. Al Horford with one open shot. And now Jrue with another one. This season was always going to be a work in progress. It was never going to be sweet. It's just the way the NBA is constructed nowadays. Teams are just... It's just too much talent out there. The Knicks just having a number of brand new players on the team. Guys got to get their chemistry down. And especially if they want to compete on a high level, it's going to take some time. And that Pistons series is really looking like where the Knicks kind of built up the calluses to kind of be in one accord. And us New Yorkers, we some impatient motherfuckers, man. You already know what it is, but can't buy too much into the media hype. Oh, the Knicks got a bunch of new players. They had a hell of an offseason. How come they're not defeating some of the top teams in the league? You know, it is a chink in the armor that we just got to deal with. But at the end of the day, this was always going to be a moving train that was going to take anywhere from 6 to 8 months. Now we're hopping right back to the overtime from game 1. The Celtics are trying to close this lead as the quarter winds down. And we're going to see some more of that peel switching. Look at Josh Hart. Look at OG, man. He stepped off of Jalen Brown too. Some of that help defense. And look at the peel switch. OG was originally on Jalen Brown, but now Josh Hart recovers to him on the closeout, and OG is going to recover to Al Horford, and he forces him into a more off-rhythm shot. Now, when it comes to some of the switch defense, the only thing that was kind of a hindrance was Cat getting into foul trouble, especially when he was matched up going up against Jason Tatum. I don't really expect that to be a continuation throughout the series. But for Karl Anthony Towns, he is going to have a big advantage in the series on the other end. Offensively, he is option A. There's no doubt. He did a good job attacking all game and applying pressure, even though he didn't have the best offensive game. But just making the Celtics pay for sticking Tatum on Cat, him being aggressive and taking the ball to the rack is going to be the most, I would say, probable and easiest matchup. Even in game 1, he had stretches where he had nice offensive rebounds and he really was posting up guys and just having easy putbacks, and some of the shots he even took, no one was there to even contest him. The height and size difference really played a large role. It was a wide gap. When you really think about it, it's back-to-back series where Karl Anthony Towns, he really has a nice matchup